What if you had taken the other job, moved to that other city, said yes instead of no? What kind of life would you be living right now? We all have moments that divide our lives into before and after, but what if we could peek into the after that never happened? Today, we're diving into a genre that lets us do just that. Speculative memoir, where your life story gets a second draft. Speculative memoir blends the personal truth of memoir with the imagination of alternate reality fiction. Think of it as your real life, reimagined. It's not fantasy, it's not science fiction. It's about emotional truth, writing the life you might have lived based on the choices you didn't take. Books like The Midnight Library by Matt Haig play with similar ideas, but in fiction. Speculative memoir goes deeper. It starts with your actual life, then branches out into the emotional what-ifs. Some writers explore the career they never pursued, the love they lost, even the family they never built. It's not escapism, it's emotional archaeology. So why are we drawn to stories like this? Because we all carry regrets. We've all stared out of windows, wondering about the other lives we might have lived. And speculative memoir, it gives us permission to go there. It's therapeutic, healing, for both writer and reader. Psychologists even have a name for it. Counterfactualthinking, the mental process of simulating alternative outcomes to our past decisions. It's not just storytelling. It's a way to process meaning and maybe even find closure. So, what does this look like in the real world? The Other Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Imagine if he had stayed sober and lived into the 1960s. How would his legacy have changed? The Versions of Us by Laura Barnett, a novel with 3 alternate timelines of a couple. Now imagine applying that structure to your own life. What if I'd said yes? A memoir that rewrites 5 major life decisions, exploring the futures that could have unfolded. Who would you have become? Cheryl Strayed's Dear Sugar columns often venture into this space where real stories meet speculative emotion. These narratives don't just ask what happened, they ask what could have happened and who else could I have been. One of the most exciting things about speculative memoir, it doesn't play by the usual rules. It's not quite memoir because it dares to imagine. It's not quite fiction because it stays rooted in your emotional truth. And it's not self-help, but it just might help you. It's a genre for our current moment. In memoir, we search for truth. In fiction, we explore possibility. But speculative memoir gives us both. It reminds us we're not just one version of ourselves, we are multitudes. And yes, there's a growing market for this. Today's audiences crave emotional authenticity and creative storytelling. Just look at the popularity of stories like Everything Everywhere All at Once, or The Midnight Library, or What-If podcasts. But in the nonfiction space, there's still room to grow. This genre isn't oversaturated, it's not a trend, it's an opportunity, especially for new voices, debut authors, or even seasoned writers looking to reimagine their own stories. So how do you start? If you're a writer, begin with a fork in the road, a pivotal choice. Then follow the path you didn't take, not wildly, but honestly. Use your real experiences to imagine a life that could have unfolded. If you're a reader, don't expect neat endings. These stories aren't about factual accuracy, they're about emotional resonance. They may be speculative, but they're real. So here's the big question. What if you could sit down across from your alternate self, look them in the eye, and ask, what did you learn? Would you envy them, or would they envy you? Speculative memoirs help us see those other selves, not to grieve them, but to understand them, to learn from them. So maybe it's time to write that version of your story, or at the very least, share it. Drop a comment below. What's your alternate life story? What's the one decision that changed everything?